Okay, I had mentioned I had conducted this test. I did a test on how long it took canteens to freeze. The amount of time I did the test was 6 hours. The temperature range was negative 10 degrees Fahrenheit to a positive 10 degrees Fahrenheit. I checked the canteens every 15 minutes. The canteens were filled to approximately 75% volume, as is recommended for your canteens during winter time. Now, I stopped at 6 hours because, quite frankly, by that point I was sick and tired of constantly getting up and going outside in the cold to check on the canteens. Now, the 4 canteens I checked. The U.S. military issue 2-quart canteen, a U.S. military issue 1-quart, an East German Insulated canteen, I believe it's M85 series, I think, as I heard someone said the name was, and the Chicom double-walled canteen. Now, when I checked these canteens, I had a chopstick with me so that I could push it down inside and I could feel how much ice was in there, was ice forming on the inside, and that stuff. So that's how I came up with some of these numbers. Next winter, I do plan on doing another test, and that will be on insulated canteens and Arctic canteens. And I plan on doing that in as far below zero as possible next winter. Now my results. As you see, the worst performer was the 2-quart. Frost formed initially for the 2-quart at 15 minutes. Now for frost, this was up in the neck, up near the top of the canteen below the cap. For the 1-quart, it was 30 minutes. The East German, it took 45 minutes. And the Chicom canteen took 5 hours before frost finally started to form up around the cork. Chunks of ice started appearing in the canteens, with the 2-quart at 30 minutes, the 1-quart an hour and a half, the East German at 2 hours and 45 minutes, and the Chicom, as you see, nothing past the frost during this test. 25% frozen estimated, with the 2-quart was at 2 hours and 15 minutes. The 1-quart, 3 hours and 30 minutes, and the East German at 5 hours. And then past that point, it was advancing pretty slow, so that's where the data finishes on that one. 50% frozen estimated. The 2-quart was at 3 hours and 30 minutes, the 1-quart 5 hours. 75%, the 2-quart was at that point by 5 hours, the 1-quart 5.5 hours, and then essentially 100% frozen. There might have been a little bit of water trapped inside the ice that had not frozen yet. On the 2-quart, that happened at the 6-hour mark, or by the 6-hour mark. Now, reason for the 2-quart doing so poorly: it is a collapsible canteen. It's flexible sides. They're not very thick. The 1-quart did a little bit better because the sides are a little bit thicker. But even then, you can see once it started getting really cold, that's when it started to freeze up fairly quick. Especially once it was over 50%. Then it started freezing real fast. The East German canteen, that one took a long time. And The Chi-Com one, that was the most surprising. I had no ice chunks forming in it. It did not freeze up. I just had that little bit of frost, and that was at 5 hours. That surprised the hell out of me. So for the next test, the canteens that will move on to that will be the East German Insulated and the Chi-Com. If you have any suggestions for including in next year's test, go ahead and put them in the comments. Maybe I'll be able to get a hold of that canteen. Do not recommend ones that would be super expensive and hard to get a hold of. Recommend ones that are easier to get a hold of. That's the whole point. I'm testing these things that are easy for us to get. You know, I don't want to spend $50 on a canteen. I didn't really like spending $20 on the Arctic canteens, but those are going to be in the test next year also. So some considerations for you for when trying to choose a canteen. Now keep in mind also the volume. The East German canteen lasted longer, but it's really just a little over a pint's worth of water in it. It's not a full quart of water inside that canteen. The Chi-Com one is estimated to be around 1 liter. So now for all my engineer brothers in the Patriot and Militia movements, always remember, Essayons.